Well, covering that story was our reporter Aldrin Sampear. In fact, let's catch up with him with this interview that he did with the Gauteng ANC Chairperson, Paul Mashatile.
Coming out as a united ANC would be quite important for the party and I guess for the alliance as well. And a critical point would be for the party to try and remain united and avoid a possible fallout. Some have said that there is the possibility of the party even splitting at this conference or beyond this conference.
That risk is there. In fact, we are worried about that. We don't want a situation where if a particular candidate wins, others decide we are leaving. That must be avoided. That's why contests must be comradely. We have not convinced each other here, comrades, let's contest, but whoever wins, we will support. That will be our position in Gauteng, that a candidate who will win will be our leader. We will not going to move away. And we want to encourage other comrades that we have always been comrades, so why would we walk away if somebody wins? All we want is that let's build a team or elect a team that will win the confidence of South Africans. Because immediately after conference, we're starting with our campaign for 2019. And we can't come to South Africans and say, this is your team, when we are not convinced ourselves. So our approach for unity is not just let's accommodate each other's factions. We are also looking at, is this a winning team for 2019, a winning team for South Africans? But it can't come from a particular group. It must be an attempt to bring all comrades together.
And then what do you do in situations where, for instance, the chairperson of the ANC, Nkuruleni, Mr. Masina, who reportedly said that if CR17 wins, if Cyril Ramaphosa wins, he would resign because he doesn't want to be part of people who he feels does not support him and does not listen to him, and specifically speaking about the region that he's from?
Well, he did respond to say his remarks were taken out of context. So I give him the benefit of the doubt that that can never be his position.
But it must be that from all leaders, you need to find leaders who come out and say that, like what you were saying right now, that whatever the outcome, whoever wins, that we as members of the ANC remain members of the ANC, because we are not members, as the president sometimes says, members of a certain individual.
Exactly, I agree with you, because there's always been contest in the ANC. It's not a contest of enemies, because if somebody wins, it means people in their majority in the ANC feel that that's a better leader to take us in this current period. And therefore, that person must enjoy the support of all of us. Because if we don't, as the ANC, how will South Africans support such a person? So this talk about if who so and so wins, I'm leaving and so on, is not helpful. I think we need to approach this conference comradely. So as far as I'm concerned, as Gauteng, we will respect a leader that wins.
Do you think that Gauteng, the ANC, has at all lost its influence within the party and inadvertently has had an effect on voter perception as well?
Voter perception, meaning we don't have support of South Africans? Yeah. Not really. I think we had a difficult campaign last year in local government, but over time we've really handled a lot of difficult issues. We have been engaging with communities. I think we enjoy a lot of support in Gauteng, but elections sometimes are not only about what's happening in a locality, and that's where the ANC need to be careful about how we design our messages, how we engage in South Africans, because somebody may not vote for ANC in Gauteng, not because they don't like us, what we do in Gauteng, but because of something that they think is wrong in the ANC generally. And that's where we need to be careful. We need to make sure that the ANC as a whole, not just in Gauteng, do the right things, listen to people, address the critical issues that affect people, unemployment, building the economy, fight corruption and state capture, do the right things. Because you can never run an election that is just Gauteng. It's not possible. Even with local government, we have seen. You know, we were very happy just before the local government election that the city of Joburg is doing well, rated high by rating agencies.
And then came the results.
But look at the results, because people sometimes say, yeah, they punish us for other things that are going wrong in the ANC generally. So we need to fix things in the ANC general. So this conference gives us that opportunity.
But I guess sometimes it's not even just about the message, but it's also about the face and what that face represents.
It's about leadership, yes.
It is about leadership.
It's about leadership.
And are you certain that out of this conference, the ANC will emerge and Gauteng, when comes 2019, as you say, that after this conference, campaigning for 2019 starts, that Gauteng ANC will be holding on to this province after the elections in 2019?
Definitely. Definitely. Well, I mean, immediately after conference, we will get down to business of preparing for 2019. We are pushing a lot in government to do things the right way, to support communities, build houses, do all sort of things. We will immediately after conference put all our weight behind the president, the new NEC, close rank, and fight as a united ANC.
Just a final one before we wrap up, the issue around economic transformation. This has been a big issue, a radical economic transformation, whichever version you want to use. It would be quite important, I guess, as well, for the ANC in terms of what message it sends to fellow South Africans when it comes to the economy, but not just the economy, but this highly debated issue, a highly contentious issue around Section 25 of the Constitution and land expropriation without compensation, which is another issue.
I don't have a problem to expropriate land without compensation where it's necessary. You know, if you go around the country, you'll find that there's a lot of land that is in absentee landlords' hands, etc. My sense is that the Constitution does not stop us. Although the Constitution says you must ensure fair compensation, but it never said where you don't have to pay, don't pay. It's a problem. So sometimes we're debating something that it's not really an issue. I think let's just do it and justify it. If we say this land we're going to take, we're not paying anybody, whoever complains can go to court. So there may be no need actually to amend the Constitution. Let's test it in court. The court has never said don't do it. We can justify it to court and say this land has been here for many, many years, or whoever owns it, got it for 5 rand from the government. They didn't pay anything themselves, so why must we pay millions of rent? But we'll debate it at conference, because sometimes we hold a lot to sound bites. I think let's go beyond sound bites. Let's take the land where it's necessary and not pay.
Is there a possibility of a coalition government at a national level, do you think, 2019?
We are open to it. We think there are parties there that think more alike with us. They may be more radical, but we can work together.
Are you saying you're open to it because it is a possibility?
It is a possibility. I think gone are the days where parties will come out with 70% and those big percentages. It's going to be tight. So we must always be willing to work with those who can share your common goal of creating a better life for South Africans.
So that was just a portion of the full interview with Paul Mashatile that Aldrin Sampear had earlier on. Well, the full 24-minute version now will be broadcast at 10:30 this evening on this channel. So you can tune in around about 10:30 to hear the full interview of Paul Mashatile with Aldrin Sampear.